Well, Reefer Madness has reared its ugly head again, and it don't get any uglier than this. So this guy said he wants to bring the guillotines back, and it's in reference to how drug traffickers often get away with their crimes. This is just one of his random wild quotes that this guy's thrown out there. Another one that's been quite famous is when he was talking about drug traffickers that came to Maine, apparently from Connecticut and New York, and apparently they came up there to sling heroin, and apparently they had names like D-Money, Smoothies, Shifty, and one of their purposes of coming there was to addict Maine residents on heroin and impregnate the white girls before they leave. And as you can see, he's a little behind the curve on legalization of marijuana. In fact, his approval ratings have never been as high as the approval ratings for legalizing marijuana in Maine. And Maine's about to legalize marijuana, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they are, so there's not a whole lot this guy can do about it but complain and throw out this reefer madness. So let's get right into what he was saying. This is I'm going to read from attn.com again because they're just one of the best sources for marijuana, and this is author Kyle Yeager. Shout out to Kyle Yeager. Check him out. What we have here is the governor giving a little speech about things, and he put a little video out on his Facebook page talking about Proposition 1, or Question 1, whatever it is there. And it was a really short clip, 74 seconds, but one of the things he managed to do is come up with 6 things that are totally, I mean, they say misleading in this article, but I say just complete bullshit. So the first thing he came out with, this isn't the first thing he said in the video, but one of the things was marijuana kills people on the highways. Traffic deaths in Colorado have increased dramatically. Now, I've done videos about this, and truth be told is when they pulled the statistics for these traffic deaths that have increased dramatically, they haven't really increased hardly at all at that time. But then now the trend is that they're going back down, and this is just general traffic fatalities that he's talking about. He hasn't said anything about marijuana-related traffic fatalities in this actual thing. But he just said that marijuana legalization overall leads to increased traffic deaths. And nothing could be further from the truth. Washington's trending up a little bit again, but both Colorado and Washington are below the national average as of 2014 after they legalized marijuana. All right, another one was marijuana is 3 times stronger than it was in the 80s. You know, I'm getting sick of hearing about this. If anything, it's healthier because that means you don't have to smoke as much of it. So let's just stop talking about that. That's just ridiculous. And marijuana is not that much stronger. Let's just face it. Marijuana doesn't get you. There's a certain level of intoxication that you can get on marijuana, and it isn't really that intoxicated. All right, and no matter how much you use, the more you use, the more tired you get, basically. All right, number 3, addicted to marijuana. I don't even know how to touch this one, but he says that people addicted to marijuana are 3 times more likely to be addicted to heroin. Heroin is already killing 7 Mainers a week. We do not need to legalize another drug that can lead to more deaths. There's no correlation whatsoever for marijuana to lead you to heroin. Really what it is the prescription drugs and the prescription opiates specifically that are definitely leading people down the path to opiates, and when they can't afford the prescription pharmaceuticals anymore, they go to heroin. And it ain't Swifty that's shifty or whatever. It ain't some gangster that comes up and forces someone to do heroin. There's just a demand because of this pharmaceutical meltdown we're having right now. So anyway, there's actually facts here that support the idea that marijuana could actually serve as an anti-gateway drug, as reported by ATTN. States where marijuana is legal experience an average of 25% fewer opioid-related hospitalization. For example, And that could be because more people are replacing addictive painkillers, which are strongly associated with future heroin use, with cannabis. Um, here's the fourth claim. THC levels in marijuana snacks are so high they can kill children and pets. Pot snacks like cookies, candy, gummy bears, and soda. Children can't tell if their weed is. Children can't tell if there is weed in these snacks. Again, I've been over this in a couple of different videos. Wherever marijuana is legal, the packaging requirements and labeling requirements, even in some cases stamps on the actual treat itself, all are just like any other medicated thing that you might have, labeled properly and childproof. So I don't know what he's talking about, but there's never been a documented case of a fatal marijuana overdose in humans, period. No child has ever died from accidentally eating a pot brownie. Never, ever, ever, ever. So let's just stop talking about that. Now with the pets, there's some weird study out there that talks about a couple of dogs dying after 125 of them ate some treats. We don't know what happened there. I mean, dogs can die from an allergic reaction to chocolate of all things. So maybe there was a peanut allergy or a chocolate. I don't know. Who knows? We need to do better studies for sure. But I'm pretty sure that marijuana can't really kill mammals for sure. All right. Number 5. People will smoke marijuana in pot stores right next to schools, daycare centers, and churches. They will smoke weed and sell pot at state fairs. Unfortunately, they already do all that in places where it's illegal. And when you regulate and make it so you have to be a certain age and have to have credentials to go to a place where they actually distribute this legally, then you're not going to get a lot of that. In all the places where marijuana is legal in any way, shape, or form, there's strict guidelines about having any marijuana facilities anywhere near a school, daycare center, or a church. Or in some cases, even more bizarre shit like liquor stores and other places that it doesn't even make sense. Number 6, businesses could not fire employees for using marijuana. Well, there's nothing anywhere that ever said that. Everybody can still, that's just simply not true, flat on its face. There's even specifically says right in the recreational legalization initiative in Maine, quote, this chapter may not be construed to require an employer to permit or accommodate the use, consumption, possession, trade, display, transportation, sale, growing of cannabis in the workplace. This chapter does not affect the ability of employers to enact and enforce workplace policies restricting the use of marijuana by employees or to discipline employees who are under the influence of marijuana in the workplace. And that's pretty much it, man. I mean, this guy's a piece of shit, right-winger, prohibitionist. He's like a church guy. He's like I don't know, he's like really far right-wing Christian. It's bizarre the way this guy's prohibition attitude really is. But I mean, this is a guy that just recently was quoted as saying something to the effect of, "We need an authoritarian leader like Trump." That's what this guy's all about. All right. So wow, I have no idea what he's gonna do in November when this law passes, because it is going to pass. And now, is this initiative, like, it's a pretty good looking initiative, I gotta say. That's all I got on this one. LePage, classic right-wing anti-marijuana reefer madness beyond the pale for 2016. We have the internet. Millennials are like 71% approval for legalization because they know what's going on. They read this shit. They're smart. They know what's going on. They figured it out. They figured out that these old right-wing Christian prohibitionists are just full of shit. And well, quite frankly, LePage is, there you go. This guy is one of the worst